Hello, my name is Bree, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel, Breezy Banter, a place where I talk about the things I want to talk about. In today's video, I decided that I wanted to try something new and attempt to do some overhead shooting. I really appreciate if you can have some leniency with me for the time being. I recognize that this is not the most ideal setup, but I am trying to see what works and what doesn't in terms of overhead shooting. And I really hope to build upon what I've done here today to make it even better in the future. In today's video, I decided that I'm going to swatch all of my lip products. And why don't I start with bringing them out so you can get a sense of what my collection looks like. So I think based on the collection that I have here, you can see that I have a few formulas that are really my favorites. As I've described in previous videos, these four formulas, so the Haus Labs, the Maybelline Superstay Vinyl Ink, the Urban Decay Liquid Lip Color, and then the Revlon ColorStay Satin Ink, are the ones that work for me the best. They stay basically through everything. I can eat, they'll stay on. I can drink, they stay on. I can come back 8 hours later, they're likely still on. There might be a little fading at that point in time, but for the most part, once they're on, they're on. I find with other lip products, they might last for like 30 minutes or so, but then they start to fade in a pretty significant way. And I've never been able to figure out how to stop that from happening. I've tried lip liners, I've tried lip primers, all sorts of things, and it just doesn't work. So I know that these four formulas are the ones that if I'm going out and I need my lip product to last, that's what I'm going to use. I've had some mild success with these Colourpop Lippie sticks. They were what I was using for a long time in the past, but once these formulas came out, I basically switched to them almost entirely just because these aren't quite as good. These Lippie sticks are better than most other formulas that I've found on the market, but now I have these four that perform better. This e.l.f. Ride or Die lip balm is the best balm that I've ever used. I find it particularly useful in the wintertime because I can put it on my lips and it basically creates a really thin but effective barrier. So if it's middle of winter, totally windy out, just prime weather in terms of drying out my lips, this prevents that from happening. I've worn this for several hours while skiing, being at the top of the hill and having my lips just taking a beating, and this product prevented anything bad from happening. In that vein, I have this Too Faced Hangover Pillow Balm Lip Treatment. This is what I use when I need just a little bit of coverage for the day. If my lips are feeling just slightly dry, this is a really good option. It's light, it smells good. I don't have many complaints, but it's also just not that heavy duty. This NYX Shine Loud lip color is quite nice. I find that it's similar to the Colourpop Lippie Sticks where it lasts a decent amount of time. Not quite as long as these four other formulas, but definitely longer than most other formulas on the market. And lastly, I have just a Colourpop lip gloss. It's kind of iridescent. I like this for when if I just want to put a gloss on. I don't use it too often, but it is nice to have in my arsenal. Now I'm going to get into swatching. I think what makes the most sense is to separate these out into color families. So I'm probably going to do neutrals, pinks, reds, orange, and then maybe everything else. Okay, so what I've actually ended up with here are reds, perhaps orangey reds, neutrals, oranges, or perhaps more strictly corals, pinks, purples, and then clear products. So let's just get started. The first product that I'm starting with is the Haus Labs Atomic Shake Lip Lacquer in the color Red Coral Shine. Next, I'm moving on to the Urban Decay Liquid Lip Color in the shade PDA. The next color that I'm going to use is, again, the Urban Decay Liquid Lip Color in the color X Lover. The next color that I have here is the Revlon ColorStay Satin Ink in the color Fire and Ice. And then lastly, I have the NYX Shine Loud Lip Color in Life Goals. So it's interesting to me how similar in color these three are. That's not what I would have guessed by looking at them. Perhaps it's this lighting, though I don't think it is, but these are remarkably similar. And by these three, to be clear, I'm referring to the two Urban Decay, which is the second and third one here, and then the NYX one at the end. The first and the fourth, which are the Haus Labs and the Revlon, are far more unique in their color. So because of the way those turned out, I'm going to do the neutrals next, because I suspect those are also quite close in color. So the first one that I have here is the Colourpop Lippie Stix in Topanga. I'm not exactly sure if that's the correct pronunciation. It's in a satin finish. I'll be sure to write down the shade name in the description box. That is such a gorgeous color. Next, I have the Superstay Vinyl Ink in the color Peachy. Last in what I consider to be the neutral color category, I have the Maybelline Superstay Vinyl Ink in the color Cheapy. So here again, I would say that the Maybelline Superstay Vinyl Ink in the color Peachy is quite similar to the NYX color. It's actually surprising how similar they are, because I don't consider these to be similar when I'm at least looking at them on my vanity. Next, I'm gonna go for the reds in my collection, and I love these. I'm definitely a sucker for a red lip. For some reason, I tend to quite like a very bright lip in my looks. So I tend to gravitate very much towards this category. And I just realized I didn't tell you the shade name. It's gorgeous. So this is the Revlon ColorStay Satin Ink in the color Smokin' Hot. That is gorgeous. That's quite similar to the Haus Labs one, the very first one that I swatched. Next, we'll do the Superstay Vinyl Ink by Maybelline in the color Red Hot. I feel like that swatch isn't really doing it justice. I consider this to be a quite kind of standard red lip. It's not a classic blue red, but it is kind of a pure red, I would say. That's gorgeous. Next one that I'll do is the Maybelline Superstay Vinyl Ink in the color Unrivaled. So this is more like a burgundy or maroon, perhaps getting close to an oxblood. It has a bit of purple in it for sure. This is the Revlon ColorStay Satin Ink in the color On a Mission, and I love this one as well. This definitely has more red than the one just before. The one just before has a bit of purple in it for sure. Okay, and next we're gonna move into the more pinks and purples. So I'm gonna start with the Urban Decay Liquid Lip Color in the color Shock Value. That's like a true kind of baby pink. Next, I have another Colourpop Lippie Stix in the color I Heart This. This is in a matte finish. Again, such a gorgeous color. I love that. Next, we have the Urban Decay Liquid Lip Color in the color No Restraints. This is like a true purple. Very unique in my collection, I would say. And lastly, I have the Revlon ColorStay Satin Ink in the color Black Cherry. And this is by far the darkest color that I have in my collection. It's quite vampy. And then I have my 3 remaining lip products. So let's do these. So this one is the e.l.f. Ride or Die Lip Balm in the color Boss Berry. This technically has a color. It has a quite thick formula. I feel like on my lips it doesn't really have a color. Or if it does, it basically molds to the shape of my lips. It's really just a tinge, if anything. And it smells really good. The next is the Too Faced Hangover Pillow Balm Lip Treatment in the color Banana Kiss. This is the one that I often take traveling because I find on airplanes it can be quite dry. And so this is just nice to have in my bag. You can see no color there. And the last product that I have is the Colourpop Ultra Glossy Lip from the Villains collection. So this is quite old, in the color Sad But True. I am going to do a smell test. It smells fine, so I suspect. Actually, you can see there's some iridescence for it. I recognize I have some scars on my arms. If you're concerned, you don't need to be. Both a combination of stretch marks and I donate blood, so that's why there's those scars there. So that's my full lip product collection swatch. Looking at this, it makes me really happy. I love basically all of these colors. I do think I have a few that are getting pretty close in terms of what they're actually giving me. Like, they're just similar in tone. As these dry down, I think there are some differences that are a bit more apparent. It's also interesting to me because, like I said, I really find myself drawn to a red lip, and I consider kind of this section of my arm to basically be kind of orange or coral, and that's the majority of them. And I wouldn't think that I would have this many in this category. I kind of assumed that I had far more red colors than anything. It's also interesting to me that I really like having one of certain colors. So although I don't wear baby pink all that often, it's nice to have. I don't wear this particularly lilac color all that often, though again, nice to have. I would love to have this in a blush color. This dark cherry, I don't tend to go for super dark lips. I do like a bit of a vampy look, but usually if I'm doing vampy, it's closer to one of these two colors, like a darker red or a darker purple, as opposed to what I would consider just a strictly dark purple. And of course, clear products such as these have their place as well in terms of moisturizing and just protecting my lips. So at this point in time, I don't think I'll be decluttering anything. I am going to keep my eye kind of on these two here, which are the Urban Decay ones, this one, which is the NYX one, and then these two, which are the Maybelline ones, because I do think that these are by far the most similar. And I also I consider them to be relatively neutral, and I don't tend to wear a neutral lip all that often. I tend to wear these Maybelline ones if I'm going for something really neutral and I just want some color on my lips. The Urban Decay ones are such a nice formula that I'm hesitant to get rid of them for that reason, because I know sometimes if I just want something that I know is dependable, I'll reach for them. That said, looking at the swatch, what I think might be missing, and I've had this on my mind for a while, is kind of that classic true blue red lip color. That said, I know that Urban Decay has one in the same formula, so that's the one that I've kind of been keeping my eye out on. And I believe Haus Labs has one as well in, I can't remember the color name, but it might be cherry or something. And so I might take a look at some future point in time, I suspect perhaps the next Sephora sale or something, to see if that's something that I want to add, because I think, as I've said, I reach for what I consider to be reds quite often, but I don't actually see just a classic true blue red reflected on my arm here. That brings us to the end of this video. I want to thank you again for just being gentle with me in terms of the filming quality. I recognize after I see this footage, I'm sure there's going to be numerous things that I'll think of to improve in the future. But thank you for being on this journey with me as I learn and grow. If you enjoy this content, I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. If you want to do more than that, I'll have a few links in the description with other ways that you can support me. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever swatched your lip product collection? What colors do you reach for the most often? Please let me know in the comments. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video, and I hope you'll be back again soon. Bye!